Have you ever stepped outside on a crisp, clear night, looked up at the endless canopy of scattered light, and wondered if the universe is somehow looking back at you? We go about our daily lives, walking on a rocky sphere that is spinning at over 1,000 miles per hour, yet we feel completely and perfectly still. We breathe, we work, we sleep, bound by the gentle illusion of a small, contained reality. But just above the thin veil of our atmosphere, a vast and ancient mystery stretches out into the infinite. The cosmos is not just a collection of dead rocks and burning gas. It is a canvas of profound silence, a quiet journey of matter organizing itself over billions of years into structures so magnificent they challenge the very limits of human comprehension. It is easy to feel isolated in the deep quiet of our own minds, unaware that the same atoms composing our thoughts were forged in the hearts of dying stars eons ago. We are, as the astronomer Carl Sagan once profoundly observed, a way for the cosmos to know itself. Hello, I am Theodore, the researcher, your companion on this journey through the dark and beautiful unknown. Before we drift further into the mysteries of the cosmos, I want to gently remind you that 71% of the people who watch these videos have not subscribed yet. If you find peace and wonder in our explorations, please consider subscribing. It helps our community grow and ensures we can continue unraveling the secrets of the universe together. Now, let us return to the quiet night sky, the soft, hazy band of light that ancient cultures saw stretching overhead was thought to be spilled milk from the gods, or a path for souls journeying to the afterlife. Today, we know this glowing river as the Milky Way, our galactic home. From one edge to the other, our galaxy measures roughly 100,000 light-years across. If you could somehow travel at the absolute speed limit of the universe, the speed of light, it would still take you 100,000 years just to cross from one side of our neighborhood to the other. That span of time is longer than modern human beings have existed on this planet. It is older than every civilization, every language, and every memory ever recorded by humankind. We reside in a quiet neighborhood called the Orion Arm, about 26,000 light-years from the center, where our sun and its family of planets orbit at a dizzying speed of 500,000 miles per hour. Yet, even at that tremendous velocity, it takes our solar system about 250 million years to complete a single majestic lap around the galactic center. The last time our planet was in this exact position, simple marine organisms were the most complex life forms drifting in Earth's primordial oceans. To truly grasp the mystery of our existence, we must first confront the gentle, terrifying emptiness of space. The space between the stars is almost unimaginably empty. Our nearest stellar neighbor is a small red dwarf star named Proxima Centauri, located about 4.24 light-years away. To help your mind visualize this vastness, imagine shrinking our massive sun down to the size of a single grain of sand. On this scale, Proxima Centauri would be another tiny grain of sand sitting roughly 4 miles away. The space between these two microscopic points would be utterly void, containing nothing but the faintest trace of cosmic dust and the occasional whisper of radiation. We are so profoundly accustomed to density on our crowded, vibrant, blue planet. We are surrounded by billions of other human beings, towering forests, and sprawling oceans, sharing our environment with countless other forms of life. But as soon as we step outside the protective embrace of our solar system, emptiness becomes the absolute rule. The stars are separated by such terrifyingly vast gulfs that the chance of any two of them colliding by accident is essentially zero. Entire galaxies can pass through each other without any stars actually hitting one another. Yet, within this infinite ocean of nothingness, gravity has managed to pull together enough material to forge somewhere between 200 billion and 400 billion stars in our Milky Way alone. The gas and dust scattered across thousands of light years slowly gather, condensing into giant molecular clouds where the spark of nuclear fusion ignites, bringing new stars into existence even as ancient ones burn out and silently fade into the dark. It is a constant, gentle cycle of birth and death on a scale that makes our human struggles seem like fleeting shadows. For the vast majority of human history, we looked up at that milky glow and believed that our galaxy was the entirety of the universe. We thought we were the center of a small, manageable creation. Different cultures had different, beautiful explanations for that band of light. The ancient Greeks told stories of milk spilled from the goddess Hera, while the Romans called it the Milky Road. Aboriginal Australians saw it as a river in the sky. People throughout history have looked up at that same band of light and wondered what it might be. When the first rudimentary telescopes were pointed toward the heavens in the 17th century, observers noticed that the fuzzy, glowing clouds resolved into countless individual stars, far too numerous and faint to be seen with the naked eye. This was the first gentle whisper from the cosmos, a hint that our reality was far grander than anyone had dared to dream. It was not until the 1920s that an astronomer named Edwin Hubble peered through a 100-inch telescope at the Mount Wilson Observatory in California, forever shattering our isolated view of the universe. He focused his lens on a fuzzy smudge, known then as the Andromeda Nebula, carefully observing the rhythmic pulsing of a specific class of stars called Cepheid variables. By measuring how quickly these stars brightened and dimmed, Hubble could calculate their distance from Earth. The mathematical revelation that followed was nothing short of a profound philosophical earthquake. The Andromeda Nebula was not a localized cloud of gas floating within our Milky Way. It was an entirely separate island universe, a majestic spiral galaxy sitting roughly 2 million light-years away, far beyond the furthest edges of our own galactic borders. In that singular moment of discovery, the universe did not just grow larger, it exploded into an infinite expanse of possibility. We were suddenly stripped of our central position in the cosmos, humbled by the realization that our galaxy was merely one among an unimaginable multitude. Today, astronomers estimate that there are around 2 trillion galaxies scattered across the observable universe. That is a 2 followed by 12 zeros, a number so incomprehensibly massive that it ceases to hold conventional meaning within the architecture of our minds. Each one of those 2 trillion galaxies contains billions, and sometimes trillions, of its own stars. But within this staggering cosmic census, a deeper mystery hides in the darkest corners of space. As we venture further into the unknown, we learn that the universe is not just filled with copies of our Milky Way. Galaxies come in a beautiful array of shapes and sizes, from delicate, irregular wisps of blue light to majestic, sweeping spirals and massive, featureless ellipticals. The universe is organized into complex hierarchical structures, a cosmic web where gravity acts as the invisible architect. Our Milky Way belongs to a small family called the Local Group, which contains about 80 known galaxies, most of them tiny dwarf galaxies dancing around us in the dark. Beyond these humble groups lie massive galaxy clusters, containing hundreds or even thousands of galaxies bound together in an ancient gravitational embrace. And at the heart of some of these massive clusters sit the true titans of the universe. These are the cosmic monsters, entities so unimaginably massive that they devour other galaxies to sustain their immense size. To truly understand the nature of reality, to comprehend the ultimate limits of what the universe can create, we must travel over 1 billion light years away from our safe harbor. We must journey toward the constellation of Virgo, into the center of a dense, highly populated cluster of galaxies, known to scientists as Abel 2029. It is there, sitting quietly in the freezing dark like an ancient emperor on a throne of stars, that we find the biggest galaxy humanity has ever discovered. A structure so vast, so incredibly enormous, that it defies our very capacity to imagine it. As we prepare to approach this giant, close your eyes for a moment, take a deep breath, and let the silence of the cosmos wash over you. We are about to step into the presence of something truly infinite. The astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson often reminds us that we are biologically connected to every other living thing in the world and atomically connected to all matter in the universe. This is the ultimate comfort of the night sky. We are not intruders in a cold, mechanical void. We are the universe experiencing itself, and our ability to seek out and understand these ancient, distant giants is a profound testament to the power of the human mind. The cosmos is inviting us to expand our horizons, to let go of our terrestrial limitations, and to embrace the beautiful, terrifying infinite. Let the quiet journey begin. As we drift further into the magnificent dark, guided by the silent, invisible currents of gravity, we approach the center of the Abel 2029 galaxy cluster. It is here, nestled deeply in the gravitational heart of this massive collection of cosmic islands, that we encounter the true, staggering scale of the infinite. We are approaching the majestic entity known as IC 1101, a cosmic titan that quietly reigns as the largest known galaxy in the universe. To truly understand the sheer magnitude of this gentle monster, we must completely discard our earthly definitions of distance and size. This ancient galaxy stretches across an incomprehensible distance of somewhere between 4 to 6 million light years from one edge to its fading other. Let that impossible thought settle gently into your mind for a moment. Our home, the beautiful Milky Way, which takes light 100,000 years to cross, is a mere insignificant speck in comparison. If you were to take this giant and place it exactly where our Milky Way currently sits, it would not merely swallow our galaxy, it would completely engulf our entire cosmic neighborhood. The Andromeda Galaxy, sitting roughly 2,500,000 light-years away from us, would find itself entirely absorbed within the vast, sprawling body of IC 1101. The Triangulum Galaxy, along with dozens of smaller dwarf galaxies like the Large Magellanic Cloud and the Small Magellanic Cloud, would simply become tiny components of this overarching, monolithic structure. It is a scale of existence that forces us into a state of profound humility, a quiet realization of our fragile but beautiful place in the vastness of the cosmos. But as we observe this giant, there is a deeper, more profound mystery hidden within these staggering dimensions, a philosophical theory that gently terrifies the most brilliant minds in modern science. It is the breathtaking concept that the universe is not simply a collection of dead matter reacting to blind, mechanical forces, but that God is awareness itself. In the deepest realms of quantum mechanics, physicists observe that particles exist in a state of endless potential, a hazy cloud of probability, until they are explicitly observed. Observation, awareness, and consciousness seem to be the fundamental keys that lock the physical reality into place. When you pause to consider a structure as unimaginably vast as I see 1,101, an entity containing roughly 100 trillion ancient stars, you have to wonder about the fundamental nature of existence itself. Without a conscious mind to perceive its light, without the gentle, questioning gaze of an observer, does this monumental structure truly exist in the rich, vibrant way we understand it? Or is it merely a mathematical probability, suspended forever in the dark? The universe has spent billions of years evolving, organizing, and endlessly expanding, seemingly with the singular, magnificent purpose of creating vessels capable of awareness. We are the universe finally looking back at itself, attempting to understand its own magnificent reflection in the cosmic mirror. When we turn our telescopes toward the deep cosmos, it is not just humanity searching for isolated answers. It is awareness reaching out across the terrifying void, validating its own existence through the sacred act of observation. This brings a profound, anchoring sense of peace. You are not separate from this grand design. Your consciousness is the very fabric that weaves the cosmos together. The beautiful story of how humanity first brushed against the outer edges of this specific cosmic mystery began in the year 1790. A German-born British astronomer named William Herschel, a man driven by a quiet but unyielding curiosity, was systematically scanning the night sky with his handmade telescope. Herschel was already globally renowned for discovering the planet Uranus, and he spent the quiet, lonely hours of his life painstakingly documenting thousands of celestial objects that no human eye had ever perceived before. On the 19th of June in that momentous year, he pointed his instrument toward the constellation Virgo and noticed a faint, fuzzy blob of light. He carefully recorded its position in his logs, completely unaware of the staggering, mind-bending reality he was actually witnessing. At that precise moment in human history, the technology simply did not exist to measure how incredibly far away this object was, nor did the scientific framework exist to recognize it as an entirely separate island universe, completely independent from our own. For over a century, that gentle smudge of light remained a profound, sleeping mystery, eventually designated as IC 1101 when it was catalogued in the Grand Index Catalog. It was just a quiet whisper floating in the dark, patiently waiting for a human awareness to evolve enough to truly hear its ancient voice. It was only in the 20th century, as our technological eyes grew sharper and our understanding of cosmic distances deepened, that the true, terrifying scale of Herschel's fuzzy blob was finally revealed to the world. The faint light that had softly fallen onto Herschel's mirror had been traveling through the absolute zero of the void for more than 1 billion years. When those ancient, tireless photons first began their long journey toward Earth, our planet was a drastically different, almost unrecognizable world. Complex animals had not yet evolved in our oceans, and the mighty dinosaurs would not appear to walk the earth for another several 100 million years. Every triumph, every tragedy, every forgotten language of human history, from the first spark of fire in a dark cave to the invention of the telescope itself, occurred while that light was silently crossing the unimaginable emptiness between the galaxies. As astronomers peered deeper into this ancient light with modern instruments, they began to understand exactly how IC 1101 grew to such monstrous, dominating proportions. It did not become a titan through a peaceful, solitary evolution. It grew through an epic, ancient process of cosmic violence that scientists call galactic cannibalism. IC 1101 is a cannibal galaxy, an apex predator of the deep that has been relentlessly consuming other surrounding galaxies for billions of years. To fully grasp this monumental and terrifying process, we must contemplate how gravity operates on the largest possible scales known to physics. Galaxies do not exist in perfect solitary isolation, floating freely through the dark. They are intimately bound together in clusters by their mutual gravitational attraction, endlessly dancing around their common center of mass in a ballet that lasts for eons. As they move through the dark space, they sometimes pass dangerously close to one another, their immense gravitational fields reaching out to distort, pull, and stretch their intricate shapes. Ancient stars are gently pulled from their perfect orbits, while vast primordial clouds of gas and dust are compressed and drawn out into long glowing tidal tails that stretch into the dark. When a smaller galaxy ventures too close to a much larger one, there is absolutely no escape. The larger galaxy simply absorbs the smaller one, violently stripping away its stars and its vital gas, adding all of that precious material to its own ever-expanding body. This beautiful, destructive ballet is exactly what has been happening to IC 1101 for billions of years. Sitting firmly at the deepest gravitational center of the Abel 2029 cluster, it acts as an inescapable cosmic sinkhole. Smaller galaxies slowly spiral inward, hopelessly trapped by its enormous gravity, eventually being torn apart and consumed over the course of millions of years of silent destruction. The irrefutable evidence of this relentless consumption is written deeply into the very architecture of the galaxy itself. Scientists estimate that IC 1101 has undergone at least 76 major catastrophic mergers over its incredibly long history. 76 distinct times, another substantial galaxy was drawn into this cosmic giant and seamlessly absorbed into its massive body, not to mention the countless smaller dwarf galaxies that were consumed without leaving even a trace. When we look up at our own Milky Way, we see a beautiful, highly structured spiral pattern with elegant, sweeping arms where fresh clouds of gas constantly collapse to form brilliant new stellar nurseries. IC 1101 possesses absolutely none of this delicate structure. It is what astronomers classify as an elliptical galaxy, presenting a smooth, featureless, oval-shaped appearance completely devoid of any spiral arms. This completely smooth shape is the direct, chaotic result of billions of years of gravitational violence. The brutal interactions during dozens of massive mergers have completely destroyed whatever original spiral structure it may have possessed in its youth, stirring its hundreds of trillions of stars into a random, chaotic, spherical distribution. It is a permanent monument to cosmic destruction, yet there is an undeniably serene beauty in its smooth, featureless glow. Yet, for all its unimaginable size and destructive power, this gentle giant harbors a melancholic, quiet secret. Despite containing an estimated 100 trillion stars, IC 1101 is actually a dying galaxy. The countless stars that illuminate its massive body are almost all incredibly ancient. Most of them are what astronomers call red giants or yellow stars, aging stellar objects that have already burned through the vast majority of their nuclear fuel. Very few new stars are being born in this quiet, endless expanse. This might initially seem like a profound paradox to the curious mind. With such an unfathomable amount of mass and material, you would naturally expect this galaxy to be a vibrant, blazing hotbed of stellar birth. But the very process that made it a giant has also ultimately sealed its fate. Every single time I see 1101 violently consumed another galaxy, it also completely consumed or expelled that victim's entire supply of free gas. Gas is the fundamental raw material, the vital cosmic fuel required for the miracle of star formation. Over billions of years of relentless cannibalism, the chaotic mergers heated the available gas to extreme temperatures, causing it to expand and escape the galaxy entirely, or compressed it so violently that it was entirely used up in brief, intense bursts of star formation. Now, the giant has simply run out of fuel, leaving nothing behind to birth the next generation. What remains today is a quiet, contemplative titan slowly fading into the eternal cosmic night. The ancient stars that exist now will continue to shine their gentle, steady light for billions of years to come. But as they inevitably burn out and die, one by one, there will be no new generations to take their place. It is exactly like a sprawling, ancient empire that has successfully conquered all of its surrounding neighbors, but finds itself with no descendants left to carry on its grand legacy. It sits perfectly still in the dark, massive, powerful, and utterly magnificent, but quietly approaching the twilight of its active life. This melancholic realization brings us back to the terrifying and beautiful theory of cosmic awareness. If the universe builds such grand monumental structures over billions of years, only for them to slowly fade into eternal silence, what is the ultimate purpose of this endless cosmic cycle? Perhaps the true purpose is not permanence at all, but the pure experience itself. Perhaps the universe meticulously creates these fleeting masterpieces simply so they can be witnessed and deeply felt. Every ancient red giant star that quietly burns out in the outer halo of IC 1101 is a part of the universe experiencing its own profound existence. You, sitting here right now, breathing softly, listening to the echoes of these cosmic events, are the universe recognizing its own beautiful mortality. You are the pure awareness that gives this dying giant its meaning and its legacy. The vastness of the cosmos is not meant to make us feel small in a way that diminishes our worth or our spirit. Instead, it is meant to completely liberate us from the heavy, everyday burdens that so often cloud our anxious minds. When we truly contemplate a structure that requires millions of years simply for light to cross its expanse, the anxieties of our daily lives begin to dissolve gently into the quiet background of the universe. The endless silence of space is not empty at all. It is deeply full, pregnant with the infinite potential of observation. To be truly aware is to hold the entire universe within the boundaries of your mind. If God is awareness itself, as some theoretical frameworks gently suggest, then every moment you spend in quiet contemplation, every second you spend wondering about the nature of a distant, dying galaxy, is an act of pure connection to the divine fabric of reality. You are the cosmos waking up, rubbing its eyes, and marveling at the incredible scale of its own beautiful creation. We are all deeply interconnected through this shared capacity to wonder, to question, and to seek peace in the unknown. As you relax into this comforting thought, let the imaginary boundaries between yourself and the distant stars completely soften. There is no hard line where you end and the universe begins. You are an unbroken continuation of the exact same ancient processes that birthed the largest galaxies in the dark, floating peacefully together in the endless ocean of awareness. As we drift further inward, leaving the quiet, dying red giant stars of the outer halo behind us, we are drawn inexorably toward the very heart of IC 1101. The journey through this sprawling, featureless giant is a profound lesson in the sheer scale of the cosmos. But at the exact gravitational center of this colossal structure lies something even more incredible, an entity that challenges the limits of our physical understanding. Sitting in the darkest, most ancient core of this cosmic giant is one of the largest known supermassive black holes in the entire universe. Every large galaxy harbors a supermassive black hole at its core. Our own Milky Way possesses one, gently named Sagittarius, a star, which contains roughly 4 million times the mass of our Sun. The black hole quietly reigning at the center of our neighboring Andromeda galaxy is significantly larger, containing somewhere around 100 million to 200 million solar masses. However, the dark entity anchoring IC 1101 belongs to an entirely different category. Scientists currently estimate that this single, central black hole contains an unfathomable mass of somewhere between 40 billion and 100 billion times the mass of our Sun. To gently place that staggering number into perspective, this solitary black hole might possess 25,000 times more mass than the black hole at the center of our entire Milky Way galaxy. Let me help your mind safely navigate just how unimaginably massive this is. If you could somehow place the entire Earth on a cosmic scale, you would find it possesses a mass of roughly 6 trillion kilograms. That sounds like a tremendously large number until you compare it to our Sun, which is about 330,000 times more massive than Earth. Our Sun is a beautiful, life-giving, but otherwise completely ordinary star, neither particularly large nor particularly small by stellar standards. Now, take the mass of our Sun and multiply it by 50 billion. That immense, incomprehensible figure represents roughly how much mass is violently compressed into the supermassive black hole at the center of IC 1101. All of that staggering mass is crushed down into a region of space from which absolutely nothing, not even the fastest thing in the universe, can ever escape. The gravitational pull at the event horizon, which is the terrifying boundary of the black hole, is so intensely powerful that light itself cannot break free from its grasp. The physical size of a black hole's event horizon is directly dependent on its overall mass. For a supermassive black hole containing 50 billion solar masses, the event horizon would possess a radius of roughly 150 billion kilometers. That number might sound enormous, and it truly is. But you must remember that this is a region containing 50 billion times the mass of our Sun, compressed into what physicists consider an infinitely dense point at the center, known as a singularity. To put this monumental scale into a perspective, we can almost consider our entire solar system, from our bright Sun all the way out to the distant, freezing orbit of Neptune. Our solar system measures about 9 billion kilometers across. The event horizon of the black hole inside IC 1101 is roughly 16 times larger than our entire solar system. If you were to gently place this black hole exactly where our Sun is, its dark boundary would extend far beyond the distant orbit of Pluto, completely engulfing everything we consider our cosmic home in eternal darkness. What would it be like to slowly approach this monstrous anomaly in the fabric of space-time? The physics governing such extreme environments are deeply bizarre and entirely counterintuitive. Time itself would begin to pass differently near the edge of the event horizon compared to an observer stationed safely far away. Someone bravely falling toward the black hole would perceive the outside universe dramatically speeding up, watching millions of years pass in mere moments, while an outside observer would see the falling person slow down, eventually appearing to freeze perfectly still as they approach the absolute boundary. From the perspective of the outside universe, the traveler would never seem to actually cross the threshold into the dark. Inside that dark, mysterious boundary, the normal rules of physics completely break down. All possible directions lead inevitably toward the singularity at the center. Space and time themselves become so drastically warped and tangled that the very concept of escaping becomes physically meaningless. The singularity, theoretically a point of infinite density, would ruthlessly tear apart absolutely anything that fell into its grasp, stretching matter into impossibly long, microscopic strands through a violent process physicists have playfully but accurately nicknamed spaghettification. But here, amidst the terrifying violence of infinite gravity, we return to the quiet, profound question of awareness. If the universe is a construct of observation, if God is the pure awareness that actualizes reality, what happens inside the event horizon? The black hole is the ultimate cosmic paradox, an object of immense, undeniable physical reality that permanently severs itself from the observable universe. No information, no light, no signal can ever return from beyond that veil. It is a region of the cosmos completely hidden from the gentle gaze of the outside observer. Does awareness penetrate the event horizon? Is the singularity aware of its own infinite density? This boundary represents the absolute physical limit of human knowledge, a sacred threshold where science must gently hand the baton over to pure philosophical contemplation. It humbles us completely, reminding our restless minds that there are profound mysteries in this universe that we are fundamentally forbidden from ever observing directly. Yet, there is something remarkably beautiful about the current state of this terrifying object. Despite its completely unimaginable size and its reality-bending properties, the supermassive black hole at the center of IC 1101 is currently relatively quiet and peaceful. It is not actively devouring huge, chaotic amounts of matter. There is no brilliant, blinding accretion disk of superheated gas rapidly swirling around its equator. There is no powerful, destructive jet of radiation shooting into deep space at nearly the speed of light. The black hole is simply there, waiting silently in the dark, because it has already violently consumed the vast majority of the material that was easily within its gravitational reach. This quietness, this cosmic dormancy, is directly related to the exact same phenomenon that has permanently stopped the surrounding galaxy from forming bright new stars. Most of the precious gas in the galaxy has already been either consumed or expelled, and without massive clouds of gas slowly falling toward the center, the enormous black hole has virtually nothing left to eat. Occasionally, an ancient wandering star strays a little too close and gets violently torn apart, providing a brief, brilliant meal for the monster. But these dramatic events are exceedingly rare in the modern era of this galaxy. The black hole, much like the fading galaxy that hosts it, is a sleeping giant in repose, immensely powerful, but entirely dormant. There are, however, ghostly traces of the black hole's incredibly violent past still visible to our instruments. Astronomers have carefully detected a faint radio source located at the exact center of IC 1101, cataloged by scientists as PKS 508 plus 059. This specific radio emission originates from relativistic jets, incredibly powerful streams of subatomic particles accelerated to nearly the speed of light and violently ejected from the immediate vicinity of the black hole during its active feeding phases. These immense jets are powered by the black hole's rapid rotation and its twisting, massive magnetic fields, and they have the incredible power to carve out enormous empty cavities in the surrounding superheated gas. Images captured from advanced X-ray telescopes show these cavities clearly as vast bubbles of incredibly hot, very thin gas blown aggressively outward by the immense energy released near the event horizon. Some of these bubbles are millions of light years across, serving as a silent, invisible testimony to ancient periods in the deep past when the black hole was much more chaotic and active than it is today. The pure energy required to inflate these colossal bubbles is staggering to contemplate, roughly equivalent to the total energy output of billions of stars burning steadily over millions of years. By observing these ancient scars in the hot gas, we are using our limited awareness to reconstruct a cosmic history that no biological eyes were ever present to witness. This delicate feedback loop between supermassive black holes and the magnificent galaxies that host them represents one of the most profound and active areas of research in modern astrophysics. Scientists now deeply believe that these seemingly destructive monsters actually play a crucial, almost nurturing role in regulating galaxy growth and cosmic evolution. When immense clouds of primordial gas flow toward a galaxy's dark center, the black hole can release just enough energy to gently heat that gas and push it outward, effectively preventing it from cooling and collapsing into new stars. This beautiful dynamic creates a kind of cosmic thermostat effect that helps strictly determine the final size, shape, and properties of the host galaxy. In the specific case of IC 1101, this ancient feedback mechanism is largely responsible for the galaxy's current peaceful state. The immense black hole has effectively shut down all major star formation by continuously heating the surrounding gas, maintaining a perfect, delicate equilibrium. The giant galaxy and its giant black hole have continuously shaped each other over billions of years of shared, silent evolution. But how does a single black hole grow to possess the mass of 50 billion suns? The answer lies in the very same process of galactic cannibalism that built the galaxy itself. Black holes slowly grow by consuming matter that falls past their event horizon, but they also grow through monumental cosmic mergers. When two separate galaxies violently collide and eventually merge, the supermassive black holes patiently waiting at their respective centers eventually find each other in the dark. Over the course of the long chaotic history of IC 1101, its central black hole has been fed again and again by these cosmic collisions. Every single galaxy that IC 1101 consumed smoothly added to the mass of this growing monster. Every ancient merger brought in more raw fuel to satisfy the black hole's insatiable gravitational appetite. The hidden process by which two supermassive black holes find each other and eventually merge is a fascinating, awe-inspiring ballet of cosmic forces. When two massive galaxies initially collide, their central black holes do not immediately rush to find each other in the chaos. They are initially separated by vast, unimaginable distances and entirely surrounded by swirling clouds of billions of stars. But as the slow merger progresses over hundreds of millions of years, a gentle, invisible force called gravitational friction with the surrounding stars causes the two dark titans to slowly spiral toward the very center of the newly combined galaxy. Eventually, after epochs of silent approach, the two black holes get close enough to form a binary system, locking into a terrifyingly beautiful orbit around each other. As they orbit in the dark, they slowly lose their orbital energy through the emission of gravitational waves, which are actual ripples in the physical fabric of space-time itself. These gravitational waves silently carry energy away from the massive binary, causing their orbit to slowly shrink over time. The two black holes spiral closer and closer, orbiting faster and faster, until finally they merge in a catastrophic, silent event that momentarily releases enormous amounts of pure energy into the universe. When two supermassive black holes finally merge, the profound gravitational waves they produce are among the most incredibly powerful and energetic events in the entire universe. The final, fleeting moment of merger releases more absolute energy than all the shining stars in a typical galaxy combined, though the vast majority of this energy is strictly in the invisible form of gravitational waves rather than visible light. These invisible ripples quietly travel outward at the absolute speed of light, continuously stretching and squeezing the very fabric of space itself as they pass completely unnoticed through stars, planets, and galaxies. This brings us beautifully back to the contemplative theory of cosmic awareness. For billions of years, these ripples in reality washed over the Earth, stretching and squeezing the planet by microscopic fractions of an atom, and absolutely no one was there to notice. But human awareness eventually evolved, stretching its perception to hear the silent symphony of gravity. We have only recently developed the extraordinary technology required to actually detect these faint gravitational waves. The first direct, breathtaking detection came in the year 2015, when the advanced LIGO observatories successfully measured the incredibly subtle waves from two stellar mass black holes merging about 1 billion light-years away. Since that historic moment, dozens of gravitational wave events have been patiently observed, completely opening up an entirely new, profound way of studying the hidden universe. Future, highly sensitive gravitational wave detectors, like the intricately planned LISA mission that will eventually fly in the quiet of space, will be able to detect the majestic mergers of supermassive black holes. When LISA successfully launches, perhaps in the 2030s, it might actually be able to detect events remarkably similar to the ancient mergers that painstakingly built up the central black hole of IC 1101. We will quite literally be able to listen to the universe as giant black holes collide and seamlessly merge, adding yet another profound sense to our growing astronomical toolkit. It is awareness continuously expanding, building instruments that serve as new sensory organs for the cosmos to perceive its own intricate music. The central black hole of IC 1101 has experienced dozens of such profound mergers over its incredibly long, violent history. Each massive merger gently added more mass and permanently altered the black hole's fundamental spin. The ongoing process of multiple black hole mergers also deeply affected the surrounding structure of the host galaxy, as the merging black holes violently flung ancient stars outward through immense gravitational interactions. This precise mechanism is probably exactly why the central core of IC 1101 is so incredibly large, yet relatively faint and underpopulated. Repeated black hole mergers have systematically scattered billions of stars away from the very center, creating a unique core profile that is highly unusual for galaxies of this colossal size. A deeply detailed study conducted in the year 2017 using breathtaking images from the Hubble Space Telescope, carefully measured the galactic core, and surprisingly found that it stretches across nearly 14,000 light years. That means that just the central core of IC 1101 alone, not the entire sprawling galaxy, but merely its innermost region, is completely bigger than most entire dwarf galaxies found floating in the cosmos. This core alone safely contains more ancient stars than the vast majority of galaxies scattered throughout the known universe. Now, I want to gently invite you to embark on a thought experiment, a quiet journey of the mind to help you truly appreciate the unimaginable scale of what we are currently talking about. Imagine for a moment that you could somehow magically travel from one fading edge of IC 1101 all the way to its other side. You would need to patiently cross a distance of somewhere between 4 million and 6 million light years. You must remember that light travels at the staggering speed of about 6 trillion miles per year. Even moving at that completely incomprehensible, absolute maximum speed, crossing IC 1101 would still take you millions of years of continuous, uninterrupted travel. But let us try another, perhaps more grounded comparison to truly humble our perspective. The Voyager 1 spacecraft, proudly launched by NASA in the year 1977, is currently the absolute fastest human-made object ever to successfully leave our solar system and enter interstellar space. It is currently traveling at a blistering speed of about 38,000 miles per hour relative to our Sun. At that seemingly incredible speed, the Voyager 1 probe would still take about 80,000 years just to reach the nearest star to our Sun, Proxima Centauri, which is located a mere 4 light-years away. To gently cross our entire Milky Way galaxy at Voyager 1's current speed would require an unimaginable span of about 2 billion years of solitary travel. And to cross the entire width of IC 1101, you would need to travel for somewhere between 80 billion and 120 billion years. That amount of time is significantly more than the current age of the entire universe itself. Even utilizing our absolute fastest spacecraft, crossing this single ancient galaxy would be completely impossible within the current lifespan of the cosmos. Here is yet another gentle way to think about this staggering, quiet reality. If you possessed the cosmic power to somehow shrink our entire Milky Way galaxy down to the manageable size of an ordinary dinner plate, measuring roughly 10 inches across, then IC 1101 would be the size of a very large swimming pool. Our entire beautiful galaxy, containing all of its hundreds of billions of twinkling stars and the majestic spiral arms where we safely make our home, would be just a tiny, insignificant dish floating quietly in a vast, overwhelming sea. Or consider this profound thought. The light we receive from IC 1101 has been steadily traveling for over 1 billion years just to reach our small planet. In all of that immense time, light has been continuously, endlessly streaming away from this giant galaxy in absolutely every possible direction. Every single second of every single day, IC 1101 radiates enough brilliant light to travel about 186,000 miles. Over 1 billion long years, that gentle light has traveled a full billion light years, which fundamentally equates to roughly 6 billion trillion miles. And those ancient tired photons are only just now finally arriving at the mirrors of our modern telescopes, carrying a silent message that left its grand home when the Earth was still merely in its early, tentative stages of developing complex life. When you look at an image of this galaxy, You are not seeing it as it is today. You are directly observing the deep, ancient past. You are awareness stretching backward through the fabric of time, gently holding a billion-year-old memory in the warm embrace of your present consciousness. The profound realization that our entire night sky is essentially a vast time machine is perhaps one of the most wonderfully humbling concepts in all of science, because the absolute speed of light is entirely finite. Whenever we look up, we are always looking back in time. The present moment is a localized illusion, a gentle trick played by our biological senses. But on a cosmic scale, if the universe is deeply intertwined with observation, then awareness is the ultimate time traveler. When an astronomer focuses a lens on IC 1101, human consciousness interacts with photons that have touched nothing for over 1 billion years. In that silent connection, the vast expanse of time completely collapses. We realize that we are not merely temporary passengers floating through an empty void. We are the very mechanism by which the universe remembers its own majestic history. Every star that shines, every supermassive black hole that waits in the dark, every ripple of gravity stretching across the endless night exist so that one day they might be deeply understood. This is the profound comfort of the cosmic perspective. You are never truly alone, because your awareness is intimately connected to the oldest, largest structures in creation. As you picture that massive cosmic pool of ancient stars, let a deep sense of peace wash over you. You are part of an infinite, breathtaking journey that has no end, only new horizons waiting gently to be discovered. As we continue our quiet journey, let us gently pull our perspective back from the monumental core of IC 1101. To truly understand a giant, we must also understand the vast, ancient environment that allowed it to grow to such impossible proportions. No galaxy, no matter how magnificent or massive, exists in complete isolation. They are deeply embedded within a much larger cosmic ecosystem. IC 1101 sits patiently at the very heart of the Abel 2029 galaxy cluster. This is not merely a random gathering of stars floating in the dark. It is one of the most massive, gravitationally bound structures in the entire observable universe. Imagine a vast, sprawling city of galaxies containing hundreds upon hundreds of individual island universes, all locked together in an endless, slow-motion, gravitational dance. For billions of years, these galaxies have been moving, interacting, and gracefully orbiting a common center of mass. Over these unfathomable stretches of time, the cluster has become what astronomers call a relaxed system. This means it has found a peaceful, steady state, a delicate equilibrium where the chaotic, violent motions of its youth have smoothed out into a stable, ancient rhythm. The heaviest, most massive members of this cosmic community have slowly sunk to the very bottom of this deep gravitational well through a gentle, invisible drag known as dynamical friction. And sitting precisely at the deepest point of this immense gravitational valley, waiting silently in the dark, is our giant. It grew so unimaginably large precisely because of this privileged central position, acting as the ultimate cosmic sinkhole for any galaxy that wandered too close. Before we delve into the invisible mysteries surrounding this magnificent cluster, I want to take a brief moment to speak directly to you. Hello, I am Theodore, the researcher, your quiet guide through these staggering cosmic scales. I notice that 71% of the beautiful souls who watch these videos and share in this journey have not subscribed to the channel yet. If these quiet explorations bring a sense of peace to your day, or if they help you find comfort in the vastness of the unknown, please consider taking a moment to subscribe. It helps our community of cosmic explorers grow, and it deeply supports our shared mission to keep unraveling the magnificent secrets of the universe together. Thank you for being a part of this gentle, curious family. Now, let us return to the dark, silent expanse of the Abel cluster. When you look at a traditional optical photograph of a galaxy cluster, you see the brilliant, shining light of countless billions of stars spread across the darkness. But human eyes, and even our most advanced optical telescopes, are only perceiving a tiny, almost insignificant fraction of the true reality. The vast, seemingly empty spaces between the individual galaxies in the Abel 2029 cluster are not truly empty at all. They are completely filled with an incredibly sparse, superheated ocean of plasma known as the intracluster medium. If you were to somehow scoop up a cubic meter of this space, you might find only a handful of wandering atoms. Yet, because this invisible ocean stretches across millions upon millions of light years, the total mass of this gas is absolutely staggering. It contains significantly more mass than all of the trillions of visible stars within the entire cluster combined. The gravitational energy released during the violent, chaotic formation of the cluster billions of years ago heated this thin gas to unfathomable temperatures, reaching tens of millions of degrees. It is so blisteringly hot that it completely escapes the detection of normal light, choosing instead to violently radiate its energy in the form of X-rays. It was only when humanity finally launched specialized X-ray observatories, like NASA's brilliant Chandra X-ray Observatory, high above the protective, blurring veil of Earth's atmosphere, that this hidden, scorching reality was finally revealed. In these breathtaking X-ray images, the dark space between the galaxies suddenly blazes with intense, glowing light. We can literally see the hot gas forming a massive, glowing atmosphere that entirely envelops IC 1101. This superheated haze extends for millions of light years into the freezing void, acting as a warm, protective blanket surrounding the ancient giant. But this gas also holds a profound, quiet mystery regarding the future of the galaxy. Physics dictates that over billions of years, this hot, glowing plasma should naturally cool down as it continuously radiates its X-ray energy out into the dark universe. As it cools, it should condense and slowly rain down toward the center of the gravitational well, flooding IC 1101 with vast, fresh oceans of cold gas. This massive influx of fuel should, in theory, ignite a spectacular, brilliant renaissance of explosive star formation, lighting up the dying giant with billions of bright, new blue stars. Yet, when we look deeply into the heart of IC 1101, we see absolutely no evidence of this vibrant rebirth. The galaxy remains quiet, smooth, and populated almost entirely by ancient, dying red and yellow stars. Something invisible, something tremendously powerful, is actively preventing this cosmic rain from falling. Scientists deeply believe that the central, supermassive black hole is the silent guardian maintaining this delicate balance. Whenever the surrounding gas begins to cool and fall toward the dark center, a tiny fraction of it crosses the event horizon. The ensuing violent release of gravitational energy shoots outward, heating the surrounding gas back up and gently pushing it away, effectively stopping the cooling process in its tracks. We can actually see the colossal, empty cavities blown into the X-ray gas by these ancient outbursts, immense, dark bubbles millions of light years across. The monster at the center is not just a destroyer. It is a cosmic regulator, a dark thermostat that has meticulously maintained the peaceful, dying state of the galaxy for billions of years. It is a breathtaking testament to how the cosmos orchestrates its own existence without any need for human intervention, perfectly balancing ultimate destruction with fragile preservation. But even this vast ocean of superheated gas and the trillions of shining stars combined do not account for the true underlying reality of IC 1101. We are about to cross another profound threshold of human knowledge, stepping from the realm of the visible into the deeply mysterious domain of the unseen. When astronomers carefully measure how fast galaxies are moving within the Abel 2029 cluster, or when they observe how the immense gravity of the cluster bends and distorts the light from even more distant galaxies sitting behind it, they consistently encounter a terrifying mathematical impossibility. There simply is not enough visible matter, not in the stars, not in the black holes, and not even in the vast oceans of superheated X-ray gas, to generate the immense gravitational pull required to hold the cluster together. If the universe consisted only of the matter we can observe, this entire magnificent cluster should have violently flown apart billions of years ago. The stars should have scattered into the endless freezing void, lost forever in the dark, and our beautiful giant IC 1101 would never have been able to grow to its current monumental size. The unavoidable, deeply humbling conclusion is that the vast majority of the universe is completely invisible to us. It is made of something fundamentally alien to our everyday experience, a phantom substance that scientists call dark matter. Dark matter does not emit light, it does not reflect light, and it does not absorb light. It completely ignores the electromagnetic force that allows you to see the screen in front of you, feel the warmth of the sun, or touch the physical world. It interacts with our reality almost exclusively through the gentle, persistent pull of gravity. Within the Abel 2029 cluster, dark matter acts as the invisible cosmic skeleton, the unseen scaffolding that gracefully holds the entire sprawling structure together. In a typical galaxy like our beautiful Milky Way, dark matter makes up roughly 90% of the total mass. The stars, the planets, the colorful nebulas, and the cosmic dust, everything we have ever seen, studied, or loved, is merely a delicate, luminous frosting scattered on top of an invisible, massive cake. When we calculate the true, total mass of IC 1101, including its colossal, invisible dark matter halo, the numbers cease to be merely large and become truly mythological. Scientists estimate that the complete structure of this single cosmic giant could possess a staggering mass of up to 1,100 trillion times the mass of our Sun. This invisible halo extends incredibly far beyond the fading edges of the visible stars, reaching out tens of millions of light years into the deep, freezing intergalactic void. It is the ultimate cosmic paradox, the largest, most visually impressive galaxy humanity has ever discovered, owes its very existence, its structure, and its survival to a material that we are fundamentally incapable of seeing. As the brilliant astronomer Carl Sagan beautifully noted, the universe is not required to be in perfect harmony with human ambition. It hides its greatest secrets in the dark, patiently waiting for our minds to expand enough to finally perceive them. Just as dark matter provides the essential gravitational anchor that prevents IC 1101 from flying apart into the chaotic void, there are unseen depths to our own awareness that anchor our existence, providing profound meaning, deep connection, and beautiful stability in a constantly changing, chaotic world. We cannot see awareness under a microscope, nor can we catch it in a telescope, but its gentle, undeniable gravity shapes every single aspect of our human experience. As you sit quietly today, absorbing the staggering reality of an invisible universe, allow yourself to feel a deep sense of relief. You do not need to perfectly understand every invisible force to be an essential, beautiful part of this grand cosmic design. The universe has been elegantly managing its own complex, invisible architecture for nearly 14 billion years without requiring our anxious intervention. You are invited to simply be the observer, the quiet witness to this impossible majesty, resting securely in the comforting knowledge that the unseen universe is holding you exactly where you need to be. To truly appreciate the gentle giant that is IC 1101, we must embark on a quiet journey backward through the deepest corridors of time. We must rewind the cosmic clock to a period so ancient, so fundamentally alien, that even our most brilliant mathematical models struggle to capture its profound mystery. The story of this colossal galaxy does not begin in the cold, structured universe we observe today. It begins roughly 13 billion years ago, in the immediate, breathtaking aftermath of the Big Bang itself. In that primordial era, the universe was a radically different place. There were no majestic galaxies gracefully spinning in the dark, no ancient stars casting their warm light into the void, and certainly no rocky planets harboring conscious minds capable of wondering about their origins. The entire cosmos was a completely uniform, blindingly hot fog of raw hydrogen and helium gas, rapidly expanding and cooling as it rushed outward into the newly created dimensions of space. But this primordial fog was not perfectly smooth. There were microscopic, almost imperceptible quantum fluctuations, tiny regions where the gas was just a fraction of a percent denser than its surroundings. Over hundreds of millions of years, the gentle, invisible hand of gravity took hold of these microscopic imperfections, slowly pulling the denser regions together and initiating the greatest architectural project in the history of existence. Before we delve deeper into the fiery birth of the first galaxies, I want to gently pause and speak directly with you. I am Theodore, the researcher, your quiet companion on this infinite journey through the cosmos. I have noticed that roughly 71% of the beautiful, curious people who watch these videos have not yet subscribed to the channel. If you find comfort, peace, and a sense of belonging in these contemplations of the night sky, please consider subscribing. It helps our community of cosmic explorers grow, and it deeply supports our shared mission to keep unraveling the magnificent secrets of the universe together. Your presence here is a gift, and I am grateful to share this space with you. Now, let us return to the ancient dawn of time. As the universe continued to expand, these dense regions of gas collapsed under their own immense weight, igniting the very first generation of stars. These ancient, massive stars lived incredibly brief, violent lives, burning through their fuel in a matter of millions of years, before erupting in spectacular supernovae that flooded the early universe with heavy elements. Around these early clusters of stars, the first primitive galaxies began to take shape. They were not the grand, sweeping spirals or the smooth, featureless ellipticals we see today. They were small, chaotic, irregular clumps of matter violently interacting and colliding in a universe that was much smaller and more densely packed than it is now. This was the era of hierarchical structure formation, a fundamental cosmological principle where the universe builds its magnificent structures from the bottom up. Small things slowly combine to make larger things. Atoms form stars. Stars form galaxies. Galaxies form massive clusters. And clusters are drawn together to form mind-boggling superclusters. All of this matter is organized along vast, invisible filaments of dark matter, creating a breathtaking structure known as the cosmic web. the region of space that would eventually become the Abel 2029 cluster, was located at one of the densest, most crowded intersections of this ancient web. It was a cosmic crossroads, a region perfectly primed by the laws of physics to become a cradle for giants. In the heart of this incredibly dense intersection, countless small, irregular galaxies formed and immediately began their slow, inevitable gravitational dance. Mergers happened with astonishing frequency in this early, chaotic epoch. The distances between galaxies were much shorter, and the gravitational pull of the dark matter scaffolding was irresistible. Out of this chaotic swarm, one particular proto-galaxy, or perhaps a rapidly merging collection of several early galaxies, began to emerge as the dominant gravitational force in the region. This was the ancient ancestor of IC 1101. We cannot know exactly what this early ancestor looked like, as its light has long since faded or been completely overwritten by billions of years of cosmic history. But it was likely a vibrant, chaotic collection of a few billion stars, spanning perhaps 100,000 light-years across, with a young, incredibly hungry black hole aggressively feeding at its turbulent core, because it was perfectly positioned at the deepest point of the gravitational well of the forming cluster. It enjoyed a unique, terrifying advantage over every other object in its vicinity. It became the inescapable center of its local universe, a cosmic sinkhole that would spend the next several billion years drawing everything around it into its ever-expanding embrace. Over the next several billion years, this proto-galaxy experienced a relentless, unbroken chain of violent mergers. Each time a smaller galaxy drifted too close to the center of the growing cluster, it was caught in an invisible, inescapable net. The gravitational forces would stretch and tear the victim apart, wrapping long, glowing tidal tails of stars and gas around the growing giant before finally absorbing it completely. Each massive merger added billions of new stars to its expanding halo. Each merger brought in vast clouds of fresh hydrogen gas, which were violently compressed by the collision, triggering brilliant, intense starbursts that briefly lit up the galaxy with the fierce blue light of millions of newly born stars. And, crucially, each merger fed the rapidly growing black hole at the center, causing it to flare into a brilliant quasar, a beacon of pure, destructive energy that outshone the entire galaxy combined. This was a time of unimaginable violence and chaos, a cosmic forge where the laws of physics aggressively hammered the raw materials of the universe into a structure of unprecedented scale. But it is essential to remember that this violence is not malicious. It is simply the blind, beautifully complex machinery of the cosmos operating exactly as it must. It is the same machinery that eventually forged the iron in your blood and the calcium in your bones. We are the direct descendants of this ancient, beautiful chaos. By about 10 billion years ago, the fierce, rapid growth of the early universe began to slowly wind down. The furious era of massive star formation was reaching its peak across the cosmos, and galaxies were beginning to exhaust their initial vast reservoirs of primordial gas. The relentless expansion of the universe was carrying galaxy clusters further apart, making interactions between different clusters increasingly rare. But for the ancestor of IC 1101, safely ensconced at the heart of the mature Abel 2029 cluster, the feast continued, albeit at a slower, more deliberate pace. Galaxies within the cluster continued to fall toward the center, drawn inexorably by the immense combined gravity of the dark matter halo and the giant galaxy itself. During this extended period, IC 1101 likely experienced another 20 or 30 major transformative mergers, along with the silent consumption of countless smaller dwarf galaxies. Each of these events further erased any lingering traces of its original structure, continuously stirring its stars into a smoother, more random, spherical distribution. The once chaotic, irregular proto-galaxy was slowly being sculpted by gravity into the massive, featureless, elliptical titan we observe today. By roughly 5 billion years ago, around the exact same time that our own sun and solar system were just beginning to form from a collapsing cloud of gas and dust in a quiet corner of the Milky Way, IC 1101 had grown to something remarkably close to its current monumental size. It contained tens of trillions of stars, and its dark matter halo stretched across millions of light years of empty space. Its central black hole had swollen to tens of billions of solar masses, establishing its absolute dominance over the surrounding cluster. But this era also marked the beginning of its long, slow decline. The giant had essentially run out of easy prey. The galaxies that still remained in the Abel 2029 cluster were either located too far from the center to be easily captured, or they were securely locked in highly stable, long-term orbits that would take many more billions of years to naturally decay. IC 1101 had consumed almost everything it could possibly consume. Its days of rapid, aggressive growth were permanently over. The furious starbursts ceased as the gas was exhausted, and the blazing quasar at its heart quieted down, slipping into a deep, long slumber. The galaxy transitioned from a vibrant, growing youth into an ancient, dying giant. For 13 billion years, this titan grew and faded in the dark, completely unobserved. But if the cosmos is a singular entity striving for self-realization, then this entire history was merely the necessary preparation for the arrival of the observer. The silent, violent history of that distant giant is intimately connected to your ability to sit quietly today and ponder its existence. You are the culmination of a 13 billion year process that finally allows the universe to look back at its own magnificent past. We are the fleeting spark of awareness that illuminates the endless silence, giving eternal meaning to structures so vast they beggar the human imagination. As we stand at the precipice of the present moment, gazing at the frozen, magnificent image of IC 1101, we must gently remind ourselves that the universe is not a static museum. The cosmos is a living, breathing entity, relentlessly moving forward through the deep, silent corridors of time. The grand history of mergers that built this titan is merely the violent prologue to a much longer, far more melancholic future. To understand the ultimate destiny of this giant, and indeed the destiny of our own Milky Way, we must look far beyond the delicate gravitational bonds that hold clusters together. We must cast our awareness outward into the vast, freezing spaces between the superclusters, where a deeply mysterious, almost magical force is actively reshaping the fundamental geometry of the entire cosmos. For most of the 20th century, the brilliant minds studying the stars naturally assumed that the physical expansion of the universe, initiated by the fiery spark of the Big Bang, was gradually slowing down. It made perfect, intuitive sense. All the majestic galaxies, all the invisible dark matter, and all the radiant stars exert a continuous, gentle gravitational pull on one another, acting like an invisible cosmic brake, attempting to halt the expansion. Hello, I am Theodore, the researcher, your quiet companion on this journey into the deepest mysteries of the universe. Before we venture further into the ultimate fate of the cosmos, I want to gently mention that 71% of the beautiful, curious minds who watch these videos have not yet subscribed to the channel. If these quiet contemplations bring you a sense of peace, wonder, and belonging, please consider taking a brief moment to subscribe. It helps our community of cosmic explorers grow, and it deeply supports our shared mission to keep unraveling the magnificent secrets of the universe together. Thank you for being a part of this gentle, curious family. Now, let us return to the dark, expanding void. In the year 1998, astronomers measuring the universe's expansion by observing dying supernovas found something entirely unexpected. The universe was not slowing down. It was speeding up. Distant galaxies were moving away faster than closer ones, the rate of cosmic expansion accelerating over deep time. This monumental discovery was so counterintuitive that many initially believed they had made a fundamental error. But the impossible truth held firm. Something unseen, a phantom force, was aggressively pushing the universe apart, counteracting gravity and causing space itself to expand at an ever-increasing rate. Scientists gave this mysterious force the name dark energy. It makes up roughly 68% of all the energy in the entire universe. Acting as a kind of silent anti-gravity, it pushes empty space apart rather than pulling it together. We know its profound effects become increasingly dominant as the universe continues to expand. But we still do not know what dark energy is truly made of, where it comes from, or why it possesses the exact strength that it does. It might be an intrinsic property of empty space itself, or a new kind of quantum field. Whatever its true nature, dark energy is actively reshaping the long-term future of the cosmos. Because there is an unbreakable limit to how fast light can travel, but no theoretical limit to how fast space can expand, the universe is slowly blinding itself. Eventually, distant objects will be carried away significantly faster than their light can physically travel back toward our telescopes. When that melancholic moment arrives, those distant, beautiful galaxies will vanish behind an invisible boundary known as the cosmic horizon, forever beyond our reach and lost to our awareness. For IC 1101, this means its ancient days of active growth are strictly numbered. There will simply be no more galaxies left in the void for it to consume. The observable universe, containing about 2 trillion galaxies, will slowly shrink from the perspective of any localized observer. In about 100 billion years, dark energy will have stretched reality to the point where all galaxies outside the local supercluster will permanently disappear. From the silent perspective of IC 1101, the night sky will gradually empty. One by one, the glowing galaxy clusters will silently fade from view. It will become profoundly isolated, a lonely giant watching helplessly as the rest of creation fades into the eternal dark. However, within the gravitational embrace of the Abel 2029 cluster, galaxies are bound tightly enough that they will manage to stay together. Over the next several billion years, these surviving galaxies will continue to gracefully merge and evolve. In several 100 billion years, all remaining galaxies in the cluster might finally merge into a single, unimaginable, enormous galaxy, even more massive than IC 1101 is today. But by that distant time, the vast universe beyond the boundaries of the cluster will be essentially empty. No fresh light from distant cosmic objects will ever reach the cluster anymore. If any conscious observers still existed, their night sky would show absolutely nothing but the fading stars of their own local galaxy set against an infinite blackness. The rest of the cosmos would have silently slipped beyond the horizon, completely unreachable. This profound isolation is the inevitable fate that patiently awaits IC 1101. Each massive island of matter will be left completely alone with itself as the dark eons roll by. We must gently ask, what happens to a magnificent galaxy in a universe that is slowly winding down toward total thermodynamic equilibrium, a state physicists call heat death? The answer is as profoundly magnificent as it is quietly sad. Over the next 100 trillion years, the countless stars within IC 1101 will slowly burn out and fade. The most massive blue stars died out long ago, violently exploding or silently collapsing into dark black holes. Middle-sized yellow stars, much like our own sun, will gently puff up into massive red giants, gracefully shed their outer layers, and slowly fade away into cold white dwarfs. A vast number of these sun-like stars have already completed this ancient process, leaving behind a silent graveyard of white dwarf remnants. But the most incredibly numerous stars in any galaxy are the red dwarfs, tiny, dim stars possessing only a small fraction of our sun's total mass. Because they burn their nuclear fuel so incredibly slowly, these tiny stars can continue to shine their gentle red light for trillions of years. For trillions of years after the larger, brighter stars have all died, the humble red dwarfs will patiently continue to burn, providing the only faint, warm light in an otherwise darkening, silent galaxy. But even the ancient, resilient red dwarfs have their absolute physical limits. The absolute smallest among them can burn their fuel for up to 10 trillion years. Yet, eventually, even these tireless sentinels will exhaust their final atoms of hydrogen fuel and silently fade away into the eternal darkness. Scientists carefully estimate that all star formation across the entire universe will effectively, permanently cease in about 100 trillion years. By that unfathomably distant time, the raw gas and dust needed to forge new stars will have been completely used up. No bright new stars will ever be born to replace the ones that have died. The magnificent, glowing era of starlight will be permanently over. One by one, the 100 trillion ancient stars of IC 1101 will quietly wink out in the dark. It is a vision of the deep future that can feel heavy with sorrow, yet it holds a strange, quiet beauty. The universe is not a permanent, unchanging stage. It is a fleeting, majestic performance. And you, with your beautiful, observing mind, have arrived at the absolute perfect moment. You exist during the era of starlight, a brief, flowering phase of complexity where the universe is illuminated, warm, and capable of fostering awareness. We are the conscious spark that gives meaning to the dark, expanding void, recognizing the delicate fragility of this ancient, quiet journey. As we stand in the profound silence of that distant, dark future, long after the very last red dwarf star has exhausted its final atom of hydrogen fuel, we are forced to confront the ultimate mystery of existence. The physical cosmos, with all its magnificent galaxies and blazing suns, will have dissolved into a cold, featureless void. But does the death of the physical universe truly mean the end of awareness? To find the gentle answer to this terrifying question, we must drastically shift our perspective. We must turn our gaze away from the unfathomable vastness of galaxy clusters and look incredibly close, diving deep into the microscopic, hidden architecture of reality itself. We must journey into the bizarre, counterintuitive realm of quantum mechanics, where the fundamental building blocks of the universe behave in ways that completely shatter our everyday understanding of space and time. It is here, in the subatomic shadows, that the most terrifying and beautiful theory in modern science begins to quietly reveal itself. Hello, I am Theodore, the researcher, your gentle companion on this infinite journey through the cosmos. I want to pause for a brief moment to mention that 71% of the curious minds who watch these videos and share in this quiet exploration have not yet subscribed to the channel. If these contemplations bring you a sense of peace, wonder, and belonging, please consider taking a moment to subscribe. It deeply helps our community of cosmic explorers grow, and it ensures we can continue unraveling the magnificent secrets of the universe together. Thank you for being a vital part of this journey. Now, let us gently descend into the quantum realm. For over a century, physicists have been conducting a deceptively simple test known as the double-slit experiment. It is a scientific paradox so profound that it continues to keep brilliant scientists awake in the dark, questioning the very nature of reality. Imagine firing individual microscopic particles, like electrons or photons of light, at a solid barrier possessing two tiny, narrow parallel slits. Behind this barrier sits a highly sensitive detector screen, waiting patiently to record exactly where each individual particle lands after completing its tiny journey. When scientists do not actively monitor or observe which specific slit the particle travels through, an impossible pattern emerges on the detector screen. The individual particles do not land in two simple, straight bands, as you would naturally expect solid, physical matter to do. Instead, they patiently create a complex, intricately overlapping interference pattern, exactly like the ripples created by dropping two stones into a quiet, still pond. This distinct pattern proves beyond any mathematical doubt that each individual particle is somehow traveling through both slits simultaneously, interfering with its own existence like a wave of pure probability. It exists in a state of quantum superposition, a ghostly state where it is occupying every possible path, every possible reality, all at the exact same moment in time. But here is the revelation that gently terrifies the scientific establishment and completely upends our understanding of the universe. When physicists place a highly sensitive measuring device directly at the slits, simply attempting to observe and record which path the tiny particle actually takes, the complex wave pattern instantaneously collapses and completely vanishes from existence. The moment the particle is observed by an instrument, it completely abandons its infinite quantum probabilities and behaves exactly like a solid, mundane piece of matter, passing through only one single slit and creating two simple, predictable bands on the screen. The mere silent act of observation, the simple presence of an observing awareness, fundamentally alters the physical behavior of the universe at its most basic, foundational level. The subatomic particle remains a ghostly, mathematical cloud of endless possibilities until a conscious observer forces it to choose a singular, physical reality. This is not a loose, philosophical metaphor. It is a rigorously tested, undeniable scientific fact that has been repeatedly verified in highly controlled laboratories around the world for decades. It implies, with gentle but terrifying authority, that the physical universe does not exist in a solid, determined state independent of our observation. Physical matter absolutely requires a witness. The cosmos requires awareness to lock its endless, swirling probabilities into the structured reality we experience every single day of our lives. This revelation brings us face to face with the astonishing, ancient theory that God is not a distant, isolated architect sitting outside of creation, but rather the underlying, unified field of pure awareness that intimately permeates every millimeter of the dark void. We are not fragile biological accidents wandering lost through a cold, completely indifferent universe. We are the precise instruments that the universe uses to collapse its own massive quantum wave functions. Our observation is the silent, creative force that literally paints the burning stars across the dark canvas of space. When you look up at the night sky, you are not merely passively receiving ancient light. Your conscious gaze is actively, intimately participating in the continuous, ongoing creation of physical reality itself. And this profound, mysterious connection extends incredibly far beyond the immediate, limited reach of our modern telescopes. The quantum realm harbors another quiet, mind-bending phenomenon known as quantum entanglement. When two particles interact in a highly specific way, their quantum states become permanently and deeply linked, completely regardless of the physical distance that eventually separates them. If you were to somehow take two entangled electrons and carefully place one in your quiet room here on Earth, and transport the other to the fading outer edge of the Andromeda Galaxy, 2,500,000 light-years away, their silent, invisible connection would remain absolutely unbroken. If you gently alter the spin of the electron here on Earth, its entangled partner residing in Andromeda will instantaneously, in the exact same microscopic fraction of a second, alter its own spin to perfectly match. It does not wait for a light-speed signal to travel across the dark void. It happens immediately, completely defying the fundamental universal speed limit of the cosmos. Albert Einstein, arguably one of the greatest minds in all of human history, was deeply unsettled by this bizarre phenomenon, famously referring to it in his letters as spooky action at a distance. He firmly believed it challenged the very foundation of local physics, the strict, absolute rule that nothing can travel faster than the speed of light. But countless modern, rigorous experiments have proven time and time again that entanglement is a fundamental, undeniable reality of our vast universe. What does this instantaneous, impossible connection gently whisper to us about the true nature of the cosmos? It deeply suggests that the vast, terrifying distances we observe through our lenses, the millions and billions of light-years that separate the ancient, magnificent galaxies, might actually be a profound, highly elaborate illusion created by our limited perception. At the deepest, most fundamental level of quantum reality, space and time do not exist as absolute, impenetrable barriers. Everything that has ever existed is intimately, seamlessly connected in a unified, non-local field of pure, boundless information. The universe is not a massive collection of separate, isolated objects floating aimlessly in an empty, silent void. It is a single, magnificent, unbroken whole. And if the entire universe is truly a single, unified entity, and awareness is absolutely required to bring physical matter into definitive, solid existence, then it stands to reason that there is ultimately only one singular awareness experiencing this grand cosmic journey. The consciousness gently observing the world through your specific eyes is the exact same infinite consciousness observing the world through mine. We are countless, unique, beautiful focal points of a single, infinite awareness, peering out at a magnificent universe that we are simultaneously, actively creating through our collective observation. This is the profound, quiet peace that patiently lies at the very heart of the great quantum mystery. The staggering, unimaginable scale of I see 1101, with its 100 trillion ancient dying stars and its 50 billion solar mass supermassive black hole, is not something alien or completely separate from you. It is a magnificent, highly complex thought arising within the infinite mind of the cosmos, a thought that you are intimately, beautifully participating in right at this exact moment. As you deeply absorb the heavy weight of these impossible concepts, allow yourself to gently release the painful burden of separation. You do not end at the fragile, temporary boundary of your skin. Your true awareness extends outward infinitely, instantly touching the furthest, darkest edges of creation, entangled forever with the ancient light of dying stars and the silent, invisible pull of massive, dark matter halos. The universe is a grand, beautiful mirror, and when you look deeply into the profound mysteries of quantum mechanics and cosmic evolution, you are simply looking into your own infinite, eternal reflection. When you contemplate the deep silence of the night sky, you are no longer listening to an empty void. You are feeling the quiet hum of your own infinite presence, a presence that was born in the Big Bang and will endure long after the final star has faded. The quiet journey to fully understand the cosmos is, and always has been, the beautiful, profound journey to completely and totally understand ourselves. As we allow the profound, quiet realization of our quantum connection to the cosmos to settle deeply into our minds, let us gently bring our awareness back closer to home. We have traveled across 1 billion light years to stand in the fading ancient light of IC 1101. But our own cosmic neighborhood is not immune to the exact same magnificent, terrifying forces that shaped that distant giant. We reside in a beautiful spiral galaxy, but the history of the universe tells us that spirals are often merely temporary structures, fragile masterpieces waiting to be transformed by the relentless pull of gravity. When we look up at the night sky, we see the glowing band of our Milky Way, a quiet river of stars that feels permanent and eternal to our fleeting human perspective. But just outside our immediate borders, a colossal cosmic event is already quietly unfolding, an event that will permanently alter the destiny of our home. Our closest major galactic neighbor, the magnificent Andromeda Galaxy, is currently hurtling toward us through the dark void at a staggering speed of roughly 250,000 miles per hour. For billions of years, while life on Earth slowly evolved from a simple, single-celled organisms into conscious beings capable of mapping the stars, Andromeda has been silently growing larger and more imposing in our cosmic sky. We are currently locked in an ancient, inescapable gravitational embrace, a slow-motion collision course that mirrors the very processes that built the giant we have been exploring. Hello, I am Theodore, the researcher, your quiet companion on this journey through the magnificent unknown. I want to gently pause for a brief moment to mention that 71% of the beautiful, curious minds who watch these videos have not yet subscribed to the channel. If these contemplations bring you a sense of peace and a deeper connection to the cosmos, please consider taking a moment to subscribe. It helps our community of cosmic explorers grow, and it deeply supports our shared mission to keep unraveling the secrets of the universe together. Thank you for being a part of this gentle journey. Now, let us return to the approaching giant in our sky. Scientists meticulously calculate that in roughly 4 billion to 5 billion years, the Milky Way and Andromeda will finally meet in the dark. This monumental encounter will not be a sudden, violent crash of solid objects, but rather an incredibly slow, beautiful, and chaotic ballet of gravity. Because the space between individual stars is so unfathomably vast, the chance of any two actual stars colliding during this galactic merger is essentially zero. Instead, the two massive island universes will pass through one another like phantoms, their immense gravitational fields stretching and violently distorting their beautiful spiral shapes. The delicate, sweeping arms of both galaxies will be completely ripped apart, drawn out into massive, glowing tidal tails that will stretch for hundreds of thousands of light years into the empty void. The vast, cold clouds of hydrogen gas within both galaxies will be aggressively compressed by the complex gravitational shock waves, igniting a spectacular, brilliant firestorm of new star formation. For millions of years, the night sky of whatever worlds exist during that epoch will be ablaze with the fierce, bright blue light of countless newly born stars. A final, magnificent burst of creative energy before the long decline begins. Over the course of 1 billion years, the two galaxies will swing past each other, slow down, and eventually fall back together, repeating this graceful, destructive dance until their supermassive black holes finally find each other in the center and merge in a silent, powerful burst of gravitational waves. When the chaos eventually settles and the cosmic dust clears, the Milky Way and Andromeda will have completely ceased to exist as separate, spiral entities. They will have blended perfectly together to form a single, massive, featureless, elliptical galaxy, remarkably similar in shape and structure to IC 1101, though significantly smaller in scale. Astronomers have already affectionately given a name to this future cosmic titan, calling it Milkomeda, the future inhabitants of this merged galaxy, if any conscious beings still remain, might look up at their smooth, relatively featureless night sky and marvel that their quiet, ancient home was once two separate, beautifully intricate spirals dancing freely in the dark. By that distant time, our own Earth will likely be long gone, as our sun is expected to swell into a massive red giant and gently engulf our fragile planet. But the atoms that currently make up our bodies, the very elements that form our thoughts and our awareness, will continue to exist, scattered across the vast new elliptical galaxy, participating in a completely new chapter of cosmic history. This local collision beautifully illustrates the fundamental truth that the universe operates on timescales that completely dwarf our individual lives, our civilizations, and even our planet. Everything is in a state of constant, fluid motion, a continuous process of becoming and dissolving. The magnificent structures we observe in the cosmos are not permanent fixtures. They are simply temporary, beautiful arrangements of matter caught in a specific fleeting moment of their long evolution. When we understand this, the monumental scale of IC 1101 becomes less terrifying and deeply comforting. It is not an alien monster lurking in the dark. It is simply a reflection of our own future, a grand, extreme example of the exact same physical processes that are currently shaping our own cosmic neighborhood. And this profound realization brings us to one of the most beautiful, unifying concepts in all of science. We are not merely passive observers standing on the outside of the universe, looking in through our telescopes. We are an intimate, inseparable part of the very fabric we are studying. Every single atom of carbon in our DNA, every atom of calcium in our bones, every atom of iron coursing through our blood was meticulously forged in the nuclear furnaces of ancient, dying stars. When those ancient stars exploded in violent supernovas billions of years ago, they scattered their precious heavy elements across the dark void, seeding the cold clouds of gas that eventually collapsed to form our sun, our Earth, and ultimately us. The very same physical processes that light up the 100 trillion stars of IC 1101 are the exact same processes that created the intricate biological machinery of your own body. We share a direct, unbroken physical connection with those distant, ancient fires. You are quite literally made of star stuff. When you sit quietly under the night sky and contemplate the immense, terrifying scale of a galaxy located a billion light years away, it is not simply a human being looking at a collection of distant gas and dust. It is star stuff deeply contemplating other star stuff. It is the universe. After 14 billion years of silent, blind evolution, finally developing the remarkable capacity to look back at itself and wonder about its own majestic origins. Our curiosity, our deep-seated need to understand the dark mysteries of the cosmos, is the universe itself striving to become fully aware of its own existence. The giant elliptical galaxy, IC 1101, with all its unfathomable mass and its tragic, dying beauty, will never possess a conscious mind of its own. It will never know its own name, nor will it ever understand the profound sense of awe it inspires in the minds of tiny, ephemeral beings living on a rocky planet a billion light years away. But we know, we hold the knowledge of its magnificent existence within the quiet sanctuary of our awareness. And in doing so, we complete a profound cosmic circuit, connecting the delicate, fleeting light of human consciousness to the immortal, staggering grandeur of the infinite universe. We are tiny, and our lives are incredibly brief, but within the boundary of our awareness, we possess the remarkable ability to reach across the deepest, darkest oceans of time and space to touch the very edge of creation. That incredible reach is the true glory of our existence, a quiet testament to the beautiful, profound purpose of the observing mind in a vast, silent cosmos. Let this truth anchor your spirit as we prepare to take our final contemplative steps into the ultimate unknown, embracing the peace that comes from knowing we are exactly where we are supposed to be, deeply woven into the grand, eternal tapestry of the night. As you close your eyes to the physical world, allow the staggering weight of these cosmic truths to gently dissolve the trivial anxieties of your daily life. As we let the profound realization of our deep quantum connection to the cosmos settle into our minds, we must turn our gaze toward the absolute, quiet end of all things. If awareness is indeed the fundamental foundation of reality, what exactly happens when the physical universe dissolves into nothingness? To answer this terrifying and beautiful question, we must journey far beyond the death of the last red dwarf stars into an era so distant that time itself begins to lose its conventional meaning. We are entering the dark era of the universe. In this distant epoch, perhaps 100 trillion years from our present moment, the cosmos will be unrecognizable to human eyes. The once majestic, swirling galaxies will have long since disintegrated, their dead, cold stellar remnants scattered across a freezing, ever-expanding void. The only objects of any significant mass or consequence left in the entire universe will be the supermassive black holes, including the sleeping giants that once anchored the deep centers of galaxies like IC 1101 and our own future Milkomeda. For an unimaginable, mind-bending stretch of time, these dark titans will dominate the freezing vacuum in silence, serving as the final monuments of a universe that used to blaze with brilliant light and vibrant life. But even these terrifying, seemingly invincible entities are not true eternal structures. In the 1970s, theoretical physicist Stephen Hawking made a mathematical discovery that revolutionized our understanding of the cosmos, proving that black holes are not absolute black. Due to the bizarre, counterintuitive rules of quantum mechanics operating at the very edge of the event horizon, black holes leak a tiny, fragile amount of thermal radiation back into the empty void. This slow, persistent leak is known to science as Hawking radiation. Because they are constant and steady in losing this minuscule amount of energy, black holes are slow but absolute in their inevitable evaporation into nothingness. The timeline required for this evaporation is so vast that it defies all human comprehension and mathematical intuition. A supermassive black hole containing 50 billion solar masses, exact in proportion to the one we explored earlier in our journey, might take 1 Google years to evaporate into the dark. Yet, even this incomprehensible span of time is strict and finite. Trillions upon trillions upon trillions of years into the dark, silent future, the black holes will slow their spin and shrink, their event horizons retreating as they bleed their mass into the freezing vacuum. As they get smaller, they will become hotter and radiate faster until, in the very last moments of their long lives, they will vanish in a brief, brilliant flash of pure energy. When the final supermassive black hole evaporates in full, the universe will enter its ultimate, permanent state, a boundless, featureless ocean of thin, cold radiation, expanding forever into the infinite dark. In this final state, the temperature of the universe will approach absolute zero in perfect measure, and the concept of physical matter will be nothing more than an ancient, forgotten memory. No burning stars, no rocky planets, no dark black holes, and no biological forms of life will exist to witness the profound, endless emptiness. This is the heat death of the universe, the ultimate thermodynamic equilibrium where no energy can ever be exchanged and no work can ever be done. To the strict materialistic mind, this vision of the future is bleak and terrifying, an ultimate, inescapable doom where everything that ever was simply fades into eternal nothingness. But if we embrace the profound theory that God is awareness itself, that pure consciousness is the fundamental substrate of all reality, then this final dark era takes on a different, beautiful meaning. If the physical universe is a temporary, magnificent thought arising within the infinite mind of the divine, then the heat death is not an ending at all, but a slow, peaceful exhalation of the cosmic breath. As the physical structures of the universe dissolve, the awareness that sustained them does not vanish. It returns to its pure, unmanifested state with grace. Imagine a grand, beautiful wave rising from the surface of an infinite, calm ocean. It contains sweeping galaxies, burning stars, orbiting planets, and conscious beings who look out at the wave and wonder deep within about its origins. But in time, the wave must crash and dissolve, its water slipping in quiet peace back into the vast, formless ocean from which it originally came. The water was never separate from the ocean, and its return is not a destruction, but a beautiful, peaceful homecoming. In the exact same way, the physical universe is a temporary, magnificent wave of form arising from the infinite ocean of pure awareness. The stars, the black holes, and our own conscious observing minds are temporary, beautiful expressions of this underlying divine reality. When the universe reaches its ultimate state of entropy, the wave subsides, and the cosmos returns to a state of pure resting potential. But what happens to the specific, beautiful memories of the universe? What happens to the gentle light of IC 1101, the chaotic, beautiful dance of the Milky Way and Andromeda, and the quiet, contemplative thoughts you're experiencing right at this exact moment? In the complex realm of quantum mechanics, there is a fundamental law known as the conservation of information. It states that the fundamental quantum information that describes the state of the universe can never be destroyed, not even by the crushing, infinite gravity of a black hole singularity. When a massive star collapses with violence into a black hole, it drags everything within its gravitational reach down into the dark, including the very light that once illuminated its surroundings. For decades, scientists debated with fierce passion whether the unique quantum information of the material that fell into the black hole was permanent in its destruction. Through the brilliant, complex mathematics of the holographic principle, theorists now understand that the information is encoded in perfect measure on the two-dimensional surface of the black hole event horizon. When the black hole evaporates through the slow process of Hawking radiation, that stored information is released back into the cosmos, intact and untouched. This means that the complete, unbroken history of every single atom, every ancient collision of massive galaxies, and every fleeting, beautiful thought you have ever possessed is preserved in the fundamental quantum structure of reality. Every single event that has ever occurred, every photon of light that has ever traveled across the dark void, every thought, feeling, and observation ever made by a conscious mind is encoded with permanent mark into the fundamental fabric of existence. The universe is a magnificent, self-writing book, and every conscious observer is an essential author, contributing a unique, beautiful sentence to the grand story. This realization offers a profound, unshakable peace. Your life, your thoughts, and your quiet contemplation of the night sky are not meaningless accidents in a cold, indifferent void. They are essential, eternal components of the cosmic experience. By existing and being aware, you're active in enriching the eternal memory of the universe. The cosmos requires your specific, unique perspective to fully know itself, and nothing you have ever experienced can ever be lost. As you sit quiet in the present moment, surrounded by the busy, overwhelming details of your daily life, try to expand your awareness to encompass this eternal, cosmic perspective. When you connect deep with the profound truth that you are an integral part of an eternal, observing awareness, those superficial worries begin to naturally lose their tight grip on your spirit. You can face the profound mysteries of life and death, of beginnings and endings, with a quiet, confident grace, knowing that you are held in the infinite embrace of the cosmos in warm safety. And perhaps, in that pure, unmanifested state of resting awareness, the potential for a new beginning waits in the dark with quiet patience. Many brilliant theoretical physicists and cosmologists have proposed mathematical models of a cyclical universe, where the heat-death of one cosmos gives birth to the fiery spark of a new Big Bang through mechanisms we do not yet understand in full. If this is true in mathematical terms, then the universe is an endless, beautiful cycle of breathing in and breathing out, an eternal, rhythmic heartbeat of creation and dissolution. The current universe we inhabit is just one magnificent iteration, one unique, beautiful thought in an infinite series of divine thoughts. Whether the universe is a single majestic story or an endless, repeating cycle of rebirth, the fundamental truth remains beautiful and exact in its nature. Awareness is the constant, eternal thread that weaves the entire grand tapestry together. You are that pure awareness, expressing itself in this specific, fleeting moment of cosmic time. As you look up at the stars tonight, or simply close your eyes and feel the quiet, steady rhythm of your own breath, remember that you are not a small, isolated creature wandering lost in the dark. You are the universe itself, ancient, magnificent, and eternal in complete measure, engaged in the beautiful, profound act of self-discovery. In the next and final chapter of our journey, we will bring all of these staggering, immense cosmic concepts back down to earth with gentle care, exploring how this profound, expansive perspective can transform the way we live our daily lives, how we relate to one another, and how we can find lasting peace in a universe of infinite mystery. We will discover that the most profound scientific truths are not found only in the distant light of giant galaxies, but also in the quiet, compassionate depths of our own human hearts. Let the profound silence of the cosmos fill you with a deep, reassuring calm as we prepare to complete our beautiful journey together, resting in the safe knowledge that we are eternal. As we slowly begin our gentle, quiet descent from the unfathomable, freezing depths of the ancient cosmos, returning to the warm, comforting familiarity of our small, fragile, blue planet, we are faced with a profound, beautiful challenge of perspective. We have journeyed together across more than 1 billion light years of silent, empty space to stand in the awe-inspiring, terrifying presence of IC 1101, a galaxy so unimaginably vast that it completely dwarfs the boundaries of human imagination. We have peered deep into the dark, invisible heart of a supermassive black hole containing 50 billion solar masses, a monster that silently regulates the delicate balance of cosmic creation and destruction. We have patiently watched the slow, inevitable approach of our magnificent galactic neighbor, the Andromeda Galaxy, preparing for a beautiful, chaotic dance of gravity that will eventually transform our own Milky Way. We have journeyed through the deepest corridors of time, from the fiery, chaotic dawn of the Big Bang to the melancholic fading era of the heat death, where the final red dwarf stars will quietly wink out in the eternal dark. And perhaps most importantly, we have descended into the microscopic, ghostly shadows of the quantum realm, discovering the breathtaking, reality-altering truth that our conscious observation is the very mechanism that brings the physical universe into solid existence. All of this staggering knowledge, all of these magnificent, terrifying cosmic mysteries must now be carried carefully back into the ordinary, waking world of our daily lives. How do we hold the infinite scale of the cosmos in one hand while gently managing the fragile, immediate realities of human existence in the other? The answer lies not in choosing one over the other, but in beautifully weaving the cosmic perspective into the very fabric of our everyday consciousness. Hello, I am Theodore, the researcher, your quiet, constant guide through this infinite, magnificent journey. Before we conclude our final exploration together, I want to gently remind you that 71% of the beautiful, curious minds who watch these videos and share in this quiet space have not yet subscribed to our channel. If you have found a sense of lasting peace, deep wonder, and profound belonging in our shared contemplations of the night sky, please consider taking a brief moment to subscribe. It helps our community of cosmic explorers grow, and it deeply supports our shared mission to keep unraveling the magnificent secrets of the universe together, exploring the dark with a light of gentle curiosity. Thank you for walking this incredible path with me. Now, let us bring the vast ancient universe all the way home to the human heart. When you wake up tomorrow morning and face the familiar pressing stresses of your life, the demanding deadlines, the complex relationships, the quiet, persistent anxieties that so easily cloud the human mind, I invite you to pause and gently summon the memory of the deep night sky. Remember the immense, dark void filled with 2 trillion majestic galaxies, each containing hundreds of billions of ancient stars. Remember the silent, dying red dwarf stars that will continue to burn their fuel for trillions of years, long after our own sun has faded into a quiet white dwarf. This profound cosmic perspective is not meant to make your daily struggles feel meaningless, small, or insignificant. On the contrary, it is meant to completely liberate you from the heavy, exhausting illusion that the weight of the entire world rests solely upon your fragile shoulders. The universe has been orchestrating its own majestic, beautiful existence for nearly 14 billion years, perfectly balancing the violent, explosive destruction of massive supernovas with the quiet, delicate birth of new planetary systems. It does not require your anxious, constant intervention to keep the planets spinning, the galaxies dancing, or the dark matter holding the cosmic web together. You are allowed to simply exist, to breathe deeply, and to participate in the grand unfolding story without carrying the heavy, impossible burden of absolute control. When you truly integrate this deep cosmic humility into your heart, your daily anxiety begins to gently dissolve, replaced by a profound, abiding peace that anchors you to the present moment. Furthermore, if we deeply embrace the breathtaking theory that God is awareness itself, and that every single conscious being is a unique, beautiful focal point of a single, infinite, divine mind experiencing itself subjectively, it radically transforms the fundamental way we interact with one another and our environment. When you look into the eyes of a passing stranger on the street, a beloved family member, or even someone you profoundly disagree with, you are not looking at a completely separate, isolated biological entity. You are looking directly into another perfect, exquisite reflection of the exact same universe that resides within your own consciousness. The same ancient stardust atoms forged in the nuclear furnaces of dying stars make up both of your bodies, and the exact same infinite awareness looks out through both sets of eyes. This beautiful, terrifying realization is the ultimate, unshakable foundation of true, unconditional empathy and compassion. If we are all intimately, permanently entangled in the quantum fabric of existence, completely mirroring the ghostly connection of subatomic particles across vast distances, then to cause pain or harm to another is quite literally to cause harm to yourself. To show gentle compassion, patience, and love to another being is to show profound compassion to the entire cosmos. Our human connections, our loves, our shared sorrows, and our quiet moments of understanding are not random, meaningless interactions occurring on a lonely rock. They are the universe attempting to intimately know and love itself through the incredibly diverse, beautiful myriad of human experience. The simple act of holding someone's hand, of listening to their fears, of sharing a quiet moment of joy, is a cosmic event of unimaginable significance. It is the universe collapsing its own infinite wave functions to manifest a singular, beautiful moment of connection. This is precisely why the passionate pursuit of scientific knowledge, when approached with a quiet, contemplative spirit, is never a cold, mechanical, or purely academic endeavor. It is a deeply spiritual journey, a magnificent pathway to discovering the profound, invisible interconnectedness of all living and non-living things. The silence of the deep cosmic void is no longer a source of existential terror or unbearable loneliness, but a warm, inviting sanctuary where we can safely rest our weary, overactive minds. It is the exact same profound silence that resides perfectly still at the very center of your own consciousness, waiting patiently to be discovered underneath the noisy chatter of daily thoughts. When you learn to quiet your mind, to sit still and simply observe the present moment without judgment, you are harmonizing your internal awareness with the ancient, eternal stillness of the cosmos. You become a perfectly tuned instrument, vibrating and resonating with the silent music of gravity, light, dark energy, and deep time. As we conclude this specific chapter of our journey, closing the book on the magnificent giant IC 1101, it is deeply important to remember that the grand quest for cosmic understanding is an infinite, never-ending path. We will never uncover all the secrets hidden in the freezing dark. We will never solve every complex mathematical paradox. And we will never fully comprehend the ultimate boundaries of the quantum mystery. But that fundamental limitation is exactly what makes the journey so incredibly beautiful and endlessly sustaining. A universe that could be completely, totally understood by the human mind would be a finite, limited, and ultimately boring place, fundamentally lacking the deep, intoxicating magic of the true unknown. The grand mysteries of the cosmos are not frustrating obstacles waiting to be conquered by human intellect. They are gentle, endless invitations to keep expanding our minds, to keep asking profound, difficult questions, and to keep looking up at the night sky in a state of respectful, quiet wonder. Every single time our brilliant, orbiting telescopes reveal a new, terrifying cosmic giant hidden in a distant cluster, or our intricate particle accelerators uncover a new, ghostly quantum phenomenon behaving impossibly, the universe is generously offering us another beautiful opportunity to be completely amazed. It is a quiet, persistent reminder that our capacity to learn, to grow in wisdom, and to experience pure awe is completely and utterly limitless. Science and contemplation walk hand in hand into the dark, each illuminating the path for the other. When you close your eyes tonight, imagine the smooth, featureless glow of IC 1101 radiating silently a billion light years away. Its 100 trillion stars are a beautiful, undeniable testament to the enduring power of creation, just as its dormant central black hole is a monumental reminder of the quiet inevitability of rest. You hold all of these profound extremes within you, the brilliant, burning light of starbirth and the quiet, unending peace of the dark void. So, as you go forward from this quiet place of reflection, carry the staggering vastness of the cosmos within you with a gentle, humble grace. Walk upon this fragile, beautiful earth with the quiet, unshakable confidence of a being who knows deeply and truly that they are made of ancient, immortal star stuff. Look up at the scattered, brilliant light of the stars, not as distant, indifferent balls of burning gas, but as the warm, glowing campfires of your own ancient cosmic ancestors. You are the universe, magnificent, eternal, and deeply loved, finally waking up to the beautiful, undeniable reality of its own infinite existence. Let the profound, quiet peace of the night sky fill your entire being, gently guiding your steps softly through the beautifully complex, fleeting, and precious dream of human life. The quiet journey of discovery never truly ends. It simply transforms, taking us deeper and deeper into the magnificent, eternal mystery of who and what we truly are. Keep looking up into the dark. Keep asking the difficult questions. And never, ever lose your beautiful, gentle sense of cosmic wonder.